Smurfs, what's up? It's good to see you. Thank you all for coming. Glad you could make it. Yeah, well, I'm doing well, so hope you guys are doing well. We got PJ Cruikshank and Disclord in Elements. How you guys doing, guys?
Oh, good. Oh, good. Just looking forward to the show, man.
Me too. It's good to have you guys here. I'm glad I got the lighting a bit better sorted out tonight, so I don't have to be ghost. So that's a good thing. And Hammer's in as well. How you doing, Hammer?
Go, Hannah.
I'm doing
man.
That's good.
well. My phone's not doing so well, though. I don't know if I'm roboting or what, but sorry about that.
No,
What's up? How you doing, man?
Come on, Hannah.
Hammer, I
Come
think
on, Hannah.
I think you have to call the satellite technicians and tell them there's something wrong. Okay.
Yeah, that Earth curvature is getting in the way, I think.
Yeah, you can't touch this, innit, Hannah?
But yeah, it's good to see everybody here tonight. I really appreciate everybody coming in. Yeah. So I'm going to say hi to everybody in the chats quickly, but let's just look at the votes. We've got 9 votes already. Can they reality? Yes, 0%. No, 78%. I don't know yet, 22%. Interesting. What did you guys vote for?
I said not yet. The one that said what's it say?
Not yet. No,
yeah.
no, yes, and I don't know yet.
All right, somebody give me hearts in the chat. Who's that? Miss Maud Queen Bee's giving me hearts. Ooh,
Oh.
nice. Ooh, Vicky's
Have you
got
got a
to be mad
secret?
about
Have you got a secret admirer?
that. Yeah, Vicky's got to be go mental.
Oh. Hey Jeff Conkle, good to see you. YouTube, what's up? Glad to have you in. PJ Cruikshank, good to see you, obviously. Code Puncher, hey, great to see you, man. Glad you could make it. Jeff Gassett, great to have you in too. Miss Mod Queen Bee, what's up? Glad you could make it in. It's always good to see you too. I don't think you should be sending kisses. I don't think you should be sending kisses to PJ. Vicky will think he's cheating or something.
Yeah, no, man. Take it easy. Take it easy. Look, my missus is she can be jealous sometimes.
But it's good to see you, and obviously Vicky as well. Hi, good to see you too. I see. Jeff Conkle just voted no. Okay, someone voted yes, so that's some positivity for the video for them.
Yeah. Do you think I should remove that before Vicky sees it?
Hey, True Cherry Popper, good to see you. Glad you could make it. It's always glad to have you in. So, you know what brought me to the stream actually? When I saw the name Dr.Tapiocaweasel.
Tapiocaweasel.
Remember the guy that tried to explain to Grayson and crew what Coriolis was?
Oh yeah.
But he did so bad.
Yes. Was that the after show?
Yeah, that after show thing. So that is this Dr. Tapiocaweasel.
Yeah.
Now I see who this guy is. Makes a lot of sense why he answered the way he does. He looks like one of those computer nerd guys that just sit in front of his PC all day watching anime. Yeah, and this Michael guy, I don't have a clue who he is. And Dapper Dinosaur, I've heard of him, but I've never watched his stuff before. I did forward it now to a point where they're going to start talking about Flat Earth, though. Because in the beginning, they were talking about calendars and Jewish holidays and Easter and Christmas and stuff. So, not really into that. So, I think the power's going off at 11 again tonight. Sucks.
All right, got you.
Sorry about South Africa, guys.
I know, but 2 hours is still a decent show, man.
Okay, you guys ready to start the show?
Let's do it.
But before we do, will you all do me a huge favor and hit the likes?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because there's always more people watching than the like ratios. Why is that?
I have noticed that.
I mean, don't you think it would do me a huge favor just to hit the like button, and just it will really support the show really immensely.
Share as well. Even do you know what I mean? Even if you're a blooming flat earther and you don't like flat, still hit. Do you know what I mean? You're interacting with the show anyway. Hit the likes or hit the dislikes.
Yeah, it would be great, guys. Yeah, please hit the likes, and you can share the show as well if you're able to. It also helps to grow the channel.
I mean, we prefer likes, but dislikes actually instigate the action as well. But hit the likes would be preferable.
Definitely. Okay, you guys ready to start?
Absolutely.
Let's do this.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
You guys
we're
can
not
hear
here to
that,
talk
correct?
about the weirdness of
You can hear that.
Yeah, can you hear it next time?
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
different calendars for Christian holidays. We're here actually to talk about the flat Earth because, Michael, it is my understanding that it is your belief that the Earth is, on a large scale, topologically flat rather than having positive curvature over large scales, which is the thing that evidence points to, as far as I can tell.
What? That's not really very clear if he's a globe earther or a flat earther, though.
Mm,
It sounds like he's saying it's a globe, but just with a bigger radius.
aye, that's what it sounds like.
That's sort of like what it sounds to me.
It doesn't matter how big the globe is. It doesn't matter how flat it would look for how big it is. No, no matter how small, there is still curvature there.
Yeah, it's weird. Guys in chat, type 1 if you think Michael's a flat earther, or type 2 if you think he's a globe earther that thinks the radius is just bigger. Hey, Jeff Gashead, good to see you, man.
Yeah, thank you for wording it like that, because I think flat is just like way too stark, because there's mountains, there's waves, there's hills, valleys. But yeah, I also think the stationary part is important too, but like level and stationary, generally speaking. And again, I don't care if it's triangle, I don't care if it's flat, I don't care if it's oblate spheroid. I just think the evidence right now is, and again, I haven't always been this way.
Sort of sounds like he's beating around the bush, not giving a straight answer.
Yeah, on the fence, maybe one of them. Definitely.
And he is smiling and grinning while he's saying it, so almost like he's acting as a flat earther, you know? You don't know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really weird. Hey, Glenn Stars, good to see you. Sovereign, hey. Guys, by the way, did you see Sean Hawkins said he'll accept your debate, Sovereign, on one condition. The same condition he gave me. Bring your map and model.
Yeah, he just said Sean pushed it out.
Did he really? Oh. Because all I told Sean as well is, well, he's going to do the same as me. All maps and models. And then he'll just say, but you're not presenting any. It's something like he doesn't understand what all maps and models mean.
Yeah. Then he'll sit there quietly for the rest of the debate and then say his mic's broke.
Yeah, no, he's an idiot. He's a coward.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
But I mean, since when can't a grown-ass man understand? Bring your map and model. Say, okay, all maps, all models. What's so hard to understand that?
Yeah.
No, you're not presenting any map or any model. All maps, all models.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I was a big Star Trek fan, TNG specifically. I've read.
You know, you can be a flat earther and a Star Trek fan at the same time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't change anything.
No. I'm still a Star Wars fan and I'm a flat earther. What the hell does that change? Not that I'm a Star Wars fan with a new Star Wars though. I'm still I'm old school. The new Star Wars is rubbish.
Yeah, they just keep pushing stuff out and pumping stuff out now.
He said he's next generation fan specifically.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like that, but I think you got to be a fan of the first one first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Exactly, Jeff. All maps are flat.
Yeah.
And the sooner the globers understand that there's not one map in existence that's 100% accurate, the sooner they can get off their high horse and understand all maps mean the Earth is flat, because all maps are two-dimensional, flat-based. It's as simple as that. They can't show us one globe map because there is no such thing as a globe map. All maps are flat.
Yeah.
Almost.
It's very simple. Two-dimensional. A sphere is not two-dimensional.
Forms and shapes.
Some people Some people tell you the surface of a sphere is two-dimensional.
Yeah, but that's just them ignoring that you can dig a hole.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can say my tiled floor is two-dimensional because I'm just ignoring a dimension. I can take a tile out. Is it still two-dimensional? No, it's still
No.
three-dimensional. You're just ignoring a dimension. So you're
Yeah.
keeping it surface area two-dimensionally. So you're ignoring the vertical. You only...
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. It doesn't make it not three-dimensional.
No, if you take the surface of a sphere and turn it towards your eyes, point it towards your eyes, is there any part of that sphere that's closer to you than the other, any side? Do you know what I mean? If
Yeah.
it is, three-dimensional.
Exactly. Hey, Rob Keane, good to see you, man. Glad you could make it. Really, really happy to see you. Okay, so let's see if Dr. Tapiocaweasel and this Michael guy have anything of value.
Every sci-fi space book you could think of.
I don't
And
know.
all
I
of a
can
sudden,
think of a lot.
No,
okay, yeah, no.
Maybe that I can think of, not as many as Dapper can think of.
We might have a few in common there, but yes, to wrap that up, I think the evidence right now is very damning, and I have a lot of questions. And again, I'm a human. I could be wrong. I'm totally open to being, having my viewpoint changed here. But right now, I'm like, I can't believe that all of this, according to the heliocentric model, everything's almost like an illusion meant to make it seem like it's not the center of the universe, and it is stationary and it is level. You really have to do some deep.
Why is Dr. Tapiocaweasel agreeing with him? Dr. Tapiocaweasel is a heliocentrist. He believes it's a sphere. And he's nodding his head yes, with Michael saying, yeah, it's weird. The heliocentric model is like deceptive because all it's doing is showing optical that it's not rotating, it's stationary, there's no curve. So in other words, observation shows not to be a sphere. Weird. Almost like they're saying it's all an optical illusion.
Dives into things that I am definitely not an expert on. And again, I'm not saying I am the best cartographer, astronomer, or you name it. I'm not a physicist. I'm not. I am just looking at what's observable, repeatable, and again, you may find me on the lesser trustworthy side of some of the images we get from outer space. But yeah, I think that sums up my position pretty well. Thank you.
Well, so I guess then, since you said you had you think that the evidence is pretty damning, but you also had some questions. Let's start with the first part. And be warned, Tapioca here and I may have some pushback for this.
Okay, I think I'm going to forward it a bit because these guys are like, just put the playback speed a bit faster.
But
my body is ready.
Maybe 1.5. Because it might take forever just to get something out of them.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your the most compelling bit of evidence that you have seen that indicates to you that either the predictions of let's stick with the flat versus round thing, right?
Can you just give a flippin' question, man? If you guys realize that, he's trying to ask him a question. He keeps in the middle of, let me ask you a question, wants to change it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very prepared. Let's put it that way.
Right, because we could have a stationary geocentric Earth. That's another thing that there are people who believe.
Yeah.
So let's just stick with the topology, right? What is the thing that to you most strongly indicates that on the largest scales, the topology of Earth has no large-scale curvature, as opposed to the globe, which would say that over large scales, there is positive curvature.
I told you, he's saying large-scale curvature. So in other words, how can it be claimed to be a flat Earther then? There's no curve on a flat Earth.
No.
So I found that really odd.
If there was, it wouldn't be flat.
Exactly. So I'm very confused what this guy actually believes.
On the fence, it could be anything to him. You know what I mean? Donut, pyramid. It's crazy. Some of these people that just won't commit to the actual evidence. You know what I mean? The reality.
Fence sitters.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, because Earth is...
It must be short sitting on them, especially if it's them what you call them, the one, the North picket fences with the points on top,
a
But
sphere
they
that
always
people...
want the model to be inside space. that fake space. That's the
Yeah,
one
but
that
you see,
annoys
that's
me with fake flat Earth.
but you
Yeah.
see, the space is their source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really have a burger without sauce, or it's going to be dry.
That's right. That's right.
It's approximately a sphere. Don't come at me with like, well, Dapper, it's a little bit flat or squished around the pole. Yeah, I get it. We're gonna go with a sphere for today because it's approximately true for most purposes. Anyway, so what is that one piece of most compelling, or at least your favorite bit? And also, Silent Tetrapod just gifted 5 Dapper Dinosaur membership. Thank you very much, Tetrapod.
Sorry, excuse me?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to narrow down a favorite one, but I would say that the top one is just the nature of water itself
Okay.
and how it will, quote unquote, always find its level. It always needs a container of some sorts. And
Yeah.
Yep. That's a good one to start off with, I'd say.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that the globers still haven't been able to ever bring up evidence that large bodies of water curves?
They haven't. They haven't. They'll just turn around and say, "Oh, waves."
They do claim it, but
Yeah. Or what is it? A drop is called a water drop.
I
You know
think
what I mean?
before we carry on with this, I first want to. Oh no, it's not going to work. It's on my phone. Never mind. I'll make a short tomorrow.
Okay.
But it's based on this actual argument where they say they look, let's say, like a theodolite, and they look out the ocean and say, "You see, I measure the horizon below level, therefore curve." Not understanding, yeah, the ocean's physically lower than your eyeballs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, did somebody- Oh, I heard a whoop.
I heard a whoop.
Yeah, I heard a whoop, but
I did too.
Oh, did you come
I
back?
heard it.
All right, okay.
No, I know. I think Hammer left.
Oh,
Okay.
Hammer left. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
He was in a car, I suppose. He wasn't getting much.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah.
satellites aren't doing their jobs.
No, it's
Yeah.
yeah. It must be good. They'll have to do a spacewalk to fix them. All 25,000 of them orbiting Earth. You know,
They should ask for their money back from Elon Musk.
absolutely.
Oh. Yeah, those satellites, they really work. They never work where I live. They never work. It seems like they're always somewhere else, and they don't get closer to me ever. Because I always got a shitty-ass signal.
Even yeah, we
And it
struggle.
shouldn't be like that.
Even yeah, in the bush,
Yeah.
we struggle a lot when it comes to that.
And it
When
shouldn't be like that. I live in a town. Come on. There
Yeah,
should
it's
be
really
signal.
weird.
I go out and look at some of these videos that are, first off, that just can't happen on a sphere, especially one that's spinning, going in multiple directions at one time. That is a top one that we can start with. Just the nature of water. How can the water stick to a ball that's spinning? And again, if we're 70% water, how can that curve? And again, I know we're going to dive into the gravity.
That's the one-word answer to that question.
Why are you answering your own question, Michael?
Don't do that, dude.
Why? Why did he just bring it up and then try and answer his own question?
Yeah, don't try and justify yourself before.
And like I said, what's bothering me about this Michael guy, he's smiling and having this grin, this smug grin the whole time. I don't know. It's almost like he's not genuine.
Well, yeah. We'll see.
I mean, who knows? I mean, even Tapiocaweasel is busy knocking his head, nodding his head in agreement with the guy the whole time while he's talking, almost like it's planned. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like just come and play Flat Earth or something.
Yeah, for a day, let's make a show out of it or something. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Planet Peterson did leave a message on the video.
Oh, did he? Do you know I forgot to go in? I haven't put a comment in there yet. I'm going to though.
But
What did he say?
if you see his comment, the poor
Right.
chump, he's definitely a coward.
He's not got to come, is he? I'm still got to put it in there.
38 people watching, guys. Come on, let's get it higher. Please like the
Yeah.
show, share it
Share it,
out so
yeah.
we can get it to a wider community. Really be awesome.
Just one platform. Share it to any platform you got.
Any platform is, yeah. Anyway,
Fine.
Planet Peterson, this is the comment he left on my video, my stream from last night. You're actually the only person I know that's dumber than whoever I'm reacting to in this video. Congratulations. That's his rebuttal to the whole stream last night, guys.
Wow. Wow.
Just because I
Man,
asked him, he must please come and actually have a conversation with me.
you are actually the only person I know that is dumber than
Uh,
whoever I'm reacting to in this video. Wow, what an absolute
he's an
asshole.
abject moron. I mean, we
Abject
pointed out
moron.
from the beginning till the end that how he was wrong in every single instance, and telling me I'm dumb.
Yeah, exactly. He is definitely an abject moron. That's the name that QE called me for coughing. I'm gonna have to talk to him one day about
Thank you, Wally. Appreciate it.
that.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, I know we're going to go into. I'd love to dive into that more. And then also, what about these laser tests on lakes that freeze? And again, probably some optics in there too. So
That's a second topic. So let's just start with the first one. What about? So first, the thing is, the word level does not mean flat.
Yes, it's synonymous with flat. Level is synonymous with flat. Have you seen the synonym? What's a synonym, guys?
Something that means the same as the other one.
Ah, so that's weird. So flat and level are synonymous. So yeah, it definitely can't have level without it being flat. Because why does it have to be flat and level? Because you can't have any part higher or lower than the other.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, like, there's also like, I don't know if you ever hear it, but like my dad and like older people know that used to say if it level, sometimes if something's level, they'd say it's true. True, they used to use that terminology for it. I don't know if that's a big thing all over, but yeah, that's what my dad and his brothers used to say. It's true. That was level as well.
But even the level you use to hang up pictures and stuff, even if you made that in like a little ball with green liquid inside, it wouldn't change anything. You'd still have to go with the flat part of it, to make it work. You just have it's still a level.
Yeah.
Oh,
You'll have to
adjective.
go with the flat top or flat
But,
bottom.
but let's look at it this way. We got it on screen. Level. A horizontal plane. Last time I checked, horizontal doesn't curve.
No.
Or line with respect to the distance above, below a given point.
That's right.
A position on a scale or amount, context, da da da. How about adjectives? Having a flat, horizontal surface.
Mm-hmm.
And this is from level, guys. So it's the same. As the same height as someone or something else. Having the same relative position, not in front or behind.
Mm-hmm.
I do not see where it says they can't be flat in the same things. I think my battery's starting to die on my mouse. And the verbs? Give a flat and even surface to. Level can be an adjective, noun, or a verb. As an adjective, it means having a surface that is horizontal, flat, or even in all directions at the same height as something else. As a noun, it can mean a device that shows if a surface is horizontal by using a bubble in a liquid in a glass tube. As a verb, it can mean to make something flat or even. I think that talks for itself.
Hold on. The ocean is horizontal and it is also curved. Just saying.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
how do you get that right?
Yeah, how the hell
You
does
can't
that work?
have, that's a contradiction, it's an oxymoron.
Exactly.
A horizontal
Yeah.
can't curve. Do you know what horizontal is, Wally?
He's saying Merriam-Webster, bet yeah.
Yeah, Merriam-Webster contradicts their own definition. Their whole definition says it's straight, flat, level, and then in one little part they say following the curvature of Earth. Literally contradicting themselves.
Everybody in here said like, that's an oxymoron. YouTube said it's an oxymoron. You said it. I said it.
Everybody, yeah, it's an
And
oxymoron.
there's what they'll say. He's right. Come on, dude.
I mean, last time I checked, a horizontal line is the same level from point A to point B. There's no part higher or lower. It can't curve. It's a straight line. There's no such thing as a curved horizontal. If you think that, I think you should go back to school.
Yeah. I mean, and not that school was any good, but in school you were taught that it was level all across. It didn't curve.
Mm-hmm.
You know that.
But think about it. When they take sea level measurements, they have it based on a horizontal plane. Okay? Now you have sea level based on a horizontal plane, not a horizontal curve. There's no such thing as a horizontal curve.
Jeff said, because YouTube says it's an oxymoron. Jeff Conkle says,
Emphasis on moron.
Like it.
Yeah.
It means of equal distance from essentially the center of the Earth, or if you have a flat Earth, from the mean sea level, which is a
Mean sea level. Great. But sorry, can someone show me a definition where it says from the center of Earth?
Got a hard one.
Sovereign, I have a Webster unabridged dictionary from 1975. Under level, there is not one mention of curve in the whole column on definition. I know, they added it later.
Yeah.
They added it later. And Globy's... Sorry, guys, I think I've got to quickly change this battery.
Go for it.
Yeah.
It sounds like you were grabbing your guitar there.
I miss my guitar. Okay, I'm just... You guys talk all amongst you. I'm just going to quickly see if I can get them... battery quickly.
We're talking stolen genes. Said I have a Webster unabridged dictionary from 1975. Under level, there is not one mention of curve in a like that. What's next to under the heart?
No,
And something column of definitions. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It was put in there later. Part region, you know what I mean?
There we go.
To deceive us, you know what I mean? To try and put confusion in this, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? They know this, Sovereign, and they know that in school level was level, how we define it. You know?
Exactly.
They know that.
You're walking on it in the schools too. You're sitting in it and on it.
Yeah.
And your things is on it too. It's levels everywhere.
Exactly. I mean, you wouldn't be able to do construction if level was curved.
No.
So yeah, it's really... I find it really idiotic when someone comes and tries to say, yeah, but you don't understand. It's just on very large scale that horizontal actually curves. What the hell are you talking about? There is no such thing as curving horizontals.
It's ridiculous.
So yeah, no, it either curves or it doesn't. Note that all the measurements are based from horizontal reference datums, so therefore not curved. Hey, Jolly Man, good to see you, mate.
little bit tricky because I don't know if you know this, but sea level is not the same everywhere on the Earth. For instance, on either side of India, the level of the ocean is actually different by like several meters. It's measurably higher on one side versus the other. And that's because water
Moves. The ocean moves around. We have
Yep.
tides and bulges and moving water currents. The ocean is not at rest, is it?
Yeah, it's kind of dynamic.
Yeah, it's a dynamic system. Now, this is one thing globers don't seem to grasp, and unfortunately, a lot of the flat earthers don't seem to say this for some reason. When at rest, it seeks level.
Yeah.
So let's say you go to a lake that's at rest, or a large body of water that's just at rest. It's perfectly flat.
Yep.
There's no curve whatsoever because it's level. One part of the dam or lake or whatever, if it's sitting perfectly still and level, will be the same on the other side. No matter where you go, there's no curve. Yet they will always claim there has to be because they use optical instrument and don't understand that it's perspective based when you look through optical instrumentation. Hey Moxie, good to see you, man.
does not simply magically find some kind of level. What it actually does is it conforms to local forces. So, for instance, if you want to talk about liquid water that does not currently have a container doing things in regards to local forces.
Liquid water? Why do you have to say liquid water? Water's liquid. No, you don't have to say liquid water.
No,
We definitely don't drink gaseous water or solid water.
we don't know that.
Hey LJ, what's up? Good to see you, man. Glad you can make it. And Gary Benga, hello. Glad you could make it.
Yeah, LJ, man, king of the questions, then, man. modern day debate. I love
Definitely.
it. I love it, man. You're the king of it.
Sorry, Jeff. I don't know why it doesn't allow me to take the ads off when we do the streams if I'm monetized. It's so I try and make it conservative that it's at least not, it's the least kind of ads it can give. But yeah, if someone has any way of being able to set it off when you just please let me know.
We can take a look at things like rain clouds. When rain forms, it starts with droplets that nucleate around some little particle in the air. It's usually a tiny little piece of dust or something like that, right? But then, as they grow, things like updrafts push this liquid water, which forms a spherical shape because of water tension.
Really?
What?
Notice that the cloud goes against what gravity claims. Plasma water. It's a good one. Yeah, clouds defy your globe, guys.
Yep.
First of all, that water vapor is traveling up, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Water vapor is mass. Why is it not going down?
Exactly.
It's going up to condense and create a cloud. Then it's held together without gravity again. Really weird. They usually do ignore it, LJ. Now he's moving on to different things that's totally a non sequitur that's got nothing to do with what Michael said. Totally.
Up into the air, which gathers more water, and it bounces around until finally it's so big that the updrafts are no longer strong enough to keep it suspended in the air, and then it falls. So the very fact that rain falls on its own, all by itself, means one, water curves, because raindrops are roughly spheres.
What? The fact that it rains because water drops fall from a cloud means water curves, guys. Oh my bloody word.
Nice.
Oh my word.
Well,
Kanye
big.
West, good to see you. Thank you for coming. Code Puncher says also, his Webster 1968 also mentions no curve in level. So it was recently added, guys. Just reminder that water vapor is less dense than raindrops. Exactly, Glenn. But the fact that he brought a non sequitur up like that to try and make a point for Earth that water curves. There's things called water tension on a raindrop, and it's in an atmos environment, so the air is hitting it from all sides,
Yeah.
and that droplet is so small. Remember, there's pressure all around. What happens when you have a force acting on from all directions?
Well, exactly.
Well, kind of goes spherical, doesn't it? And by the way, water droplets falling are not spherical.
No.
Have you ever seen a water droplet falling be spherical?
No, it's tear shaped.
Yeah.
It's constantly unbalanced in the air. It constantly changes shape. It's not
exactly.
constantly one shape.
It's waving around all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's really crazy.
It keeps splitting up to smaller parts until it lands.
That's what I'm saying. It's a dynamic system. Things react to each other and do stuff. You know what I mean? They react to each other and things happen. Do you know what I mean? It's dynamic for you.
Yep. Exactly, Glenn Sells. A raindrop isn't at rest.
2, water does not always need a physical container like a cup or a bathtub or a pool. And 3,
Yes, it does. Show us water not contained, please.
Wow.
And by the way, your raindrop that's falling from the cloud, it's still in a contained system.
Mm-hmm.
Let's throw some water on the ground, guys. What happens to the water? It spreads out, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I
Huh.
think so.
Now, if that floor wasn't there, what would happen with the water? It would just
Keep falling.
we'll just keep falling. Notice that, here's my bottle. If there's water in here, that requires containment to hold that water there. No bottle, no water. I can't hold the water without the bottle. It's an antecedent relationship.
And it conforms to the shape of the bottle.
Exactly. Just like a gas. I don't know what's so hard for these guys to understand this. And Dr. Tapiocaweasel, since he's a doctor apparently, he's supposed to know the physics behind this. So it makes him actually dishonest.
Yeah.
That water conforms to the forces that act on it locally. Because all water is a collection of little water molecules with some stuff dissolved, and, there's some hydroxyl ions and all that stuff, sure, whatever. A nice level of approximation, it's a bunch of water molecules.
You see what he's doing here, though? He's trying to give a whole spiel on what water's the composition of water now, and how it forms and how it falls down, condensation. What the hell has it got to do with any of the conversation about Michael? So it's an obfuscation tactic to try and make a red herring so people would forget about the actual argument. Because he's trying to sound smart now, so his audience will think, oh, this guy knows so much about water, so obviously whatever he says is just true. Because I can guarantee you half his gullible audience don't actually even know what the hell he's saying. He just sounds smart, so therefore he's right.
Yeah.
That act in accordance to
That's the issue here.
forces. So if gravity is a force that exists, then there is no contradiction between gravity causing water to stick to the outside of a large mass and conform to the approximate shape of that mass.
Yes, it is. And Dr. Tapiocaweasel, why are you shaking your head correct? Hey, Spuddy, good to see you. First of all, gravity is not a force, so it can't pull or push water down or anything. Gravity was just debunked by Dapper himself when it said the water went up. Away from the large mass, remember?
Yeah.
What force caused it to go up, guys? These guys are morons.
By finding a level which will conform to that large-scale curvature, right? If Earth does have large-scale positive curvature, then level also has large-scale positive curvature, and water finding its own level will mean that over large scales, that water is curved, which
All I heard there was oxymoron, oxymoron, oxymoron.
Yeah, it's true.
Wow. Dapper, that's not correct, mate. Everything you just said literally contradicts what level is. Literally.
is something that we can observe in cases where there is a long stretch of water to the horizon and there are things that go over it. So not only is this physically consistent with the laws of physics, not only is water acting...
No, nothing you just said is consistent with physics, mate.
No.
You throw in the molecular makeup of water doesn't mean it's curving level. Really?
according to the laws of physics and moving around in ways that are not simply finding its own level in a container.
I don't even think this guy knows what the laws of physics are. Laws of physics states water at rest seek to find its own level. You trying to change this is you going against the laws of physics, Dapper. Not you trying to show Michael that the laws of physics are based showing level means curved. That's an oxymoron. You can't have a curved horizontal.
No, it's just ridiculous. You suggest that. It's not the definition of the bloody word.
Wow.
Wow. It's unbelievable.
It's insane. By the way, guys, thanks all for coming. For the new people that just joined, please hit the likes, share the show. Appreciate everybody's support. And if you want to become a member, click that link and become a member so you can have access to earlier videos and things. Really appreciate everybody's support. You guys rock.
Easily observable, just because if you've ever been somewhere where it rains, which I assume you have been, because I'm guessing you don't live in the Atacama Desert or Antarctica. I don't know for certain, but I'm guessing. And on top of that, the observed instances of water measurably curving
What?
out in the real world. I mean, I was in the Navy. I saw things go over
He
the
may need a
horizon.
chance to respond.
What? I was in the Navy. I measured Earth curve. Oh, no, you
Wow.
didn't.
Is that what Navy do they? Is that what
Apparently,
they're-
the Navy measures Earth curve because they see things go above past the horizon, guys.
Yeah, that's why the Navy's out at sea, is it? Just to measure the Earth? Yeah, of course. of
Really
course.
weird. Hey, Underground
You went
Tunnels,
through
thank
all
you for
that- through all
coming.
that- Through all that training, do you know what I mean? All that having to do what you're told, conforming to the military, just to go and measure the Earth at sea. Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what the Navy do.
Yeah, jolly man. I definitely. Yeah, I'll drop the bottle. I don't know what's so difficult for these people to understand. There's zero net force when everything falls with the bottle. The only acceleration measured is the bottle and everything with it accelerating at the same force, the same rate. So when it accelerates at the same rate, therefore it has a net force of 0. Why would you expect it to displace if it all has 0 force attributed? Very simple.
Well, no, I like learning. Like I said, I am no scientist. I am just someone that wants to think logically and consistently. And again, I'm really big on observable, repeatable. The good old scientific method. But
I mean, I feel like rain in that.
what about surface tension? And again, can we really compare rain droplets less than a milliliter, or even less than that, to the ocean?
I mean, it's a matter of scale, right? The ocean is a lot of water. A rain droplet is a little bit of water, but the physical properties of.
He said, can you compare surface tension of a little water droplet compared to large bodies of water like the ocean? Simple answer, no you cannot. Not yes you can. Really, dude. Let's put it this way, guys. What happens to pressure if you increase surface area? Becomes less.
Yeah, of course.
Because it displaces the pressure.
Yeah.
Now a water
unless there's
drop.
more gas coming in.
Yeah. Now a water droplet, okay, has much less surface area than the ocean. Correct?
Yes.
How much pressure would we need for the 14.7 psi that is evenly spread out around the whole ocean to hold trillions of tons of water?
Wow. Wow.
It doesn't fit the physics, mate.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, Hop with
Yeah,
no
man.
be silent. Thank you for coming, man. Good to see you.
Spud, I like that. I like that.
The boat on the channel.
You've given Queen Bee a flower to
Pollinate.
Love it.
The vote on the YouTube video, which word is missing in there, because I'm not sure which one to click.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
29 votes. Can they reality? That's all. It's just a saying. Can these guys talk reality? 13% say yes after 30 votes. No, 67%, and I don't know yet 20%. I think I'm going to change my vote from don't know yet to no.
But you can't change it in the poll though, because it doesn't let you.
Yeah, you can't change it. I'm just saying I can't vote because I hosted it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you can. Let's buy it.
Hey DJD, good to see you, man. Thank you for coming. Glad you could make it. So yeah,
Well, they don't. So yeah.
it's crazy.
Not yet though.
That's what hot one up recently. Yeah.
Water, in that it reacts to forces, doesn't change just because there's a bunch of it or a little bit of it.
And you just showed you don't understand physics, Dapper. And Tapiocaweasel, this is where you should pop in and say, surface area changes pressure displacement.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah, thanks, boys. You can give me a flower too.
Aww.
Nice.
It just means that the more of it there is, the more
Look at him.
large-scale forces are going to predominate over it. So yeah, it's true. The wind is probably not going to lift up the entire ocean. That's because there's a large bulk of it. But the point of the raindrop example is
Please correct him, Tapiocaweasel. Come on. You want to. Come on.
not to say that the oceans don't react to forces, or that they're special, or that they're going to get lifted up into the air. It's just to point out that water is just regular old matter, and it reacts to forces. And if there is a force pushing it towards the center of a large body of mass, that will of necessity...
The only force that's acting on the water is the gas pressure. The gas is hitting against the water. That's why we have atmos, remember? The gas is bouncing all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the force acting on the water. Come on, Tapiocaweasel, you can do this. You're a doctor of physics, remember? Come on.
Absolutely.
Correct the guy. He just literally said things that go against physics. Not understanding when you increase surface area, pressure differentials decrease because you're displacing the pressure. Come on. You can do this.
mean that it curves around that body of mass if that body is roughly spherical. Sorry, go ahead, Dr. Tapiocaweasel. I know you were trying to say something.
I was going to say, I think that the water droplet, it does an okay job of, saying, you can have self sort of attracting, for one, or self-containing in some sense, bodies of water, but
It's not self-containing. The gas is hitting it from all directions. Notice the water droplet still falls and becomes a teardrop. Hey, Max65, good to see you. Thank you for coming.
do think that it's clear that the difference is, I think, gravity-based. The idea that there's something that can keep a large body of water, a volume of water where the surface area, like, related to...
you see, he's trying to... Look at it this way. He knows the issue, Tapiocaweasel. Now he's trying to tell him in a nice way, no, sorry, you're wrong. But I don't want to say you're wrong, so let's try and make a story up that makes you sound right, but you're still wrong. Get it?
Yeah.
Instead of just being blunt and saying, that's not how it works, man. And just to tell Tapiocaweasel, because he's probably going to talk about gravity now, as he said, as a force. It's not a force.
Yeah.
It can't hold large bodies of water to the earth because gravity is not a force. You require a force to hold the mass. No force, no hold down mass.
And what the hell is gravity anyway?
They don't know. It doesn't exist. It's like a spinny meatball. The spinny meatball will fling the water off, but they want to have the gravity that doesn't exist to hold it down.
Exactly.
Magnific. Magnifico. Oh, yes.
volume makes it so that the surface tension and everything is negligible. And I think the conversation really is fundamentally about whether gravity exists or not.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. So
I think that's one. I just wanted. Can you explain further? I think you said something, Dapper, that that the scale of water doesn't matter. If I would push back a little bit, like if you look at dew droplets on a leaf in the morning, that is, it can be spherical, it can be curved, but that again, we're talking about very small amounts, and wouldn't that be surface tension?
Yeah,
because we know that there is a measurable amount of surface tension, and if you put a hose on that flower in the morning, it's not going to stick like a dew droplet. So I think the behavior does have something to change. But again, I would switch probably into the gravity conversation too. I think it goes right with that.
So I'm not going to say that the shape of the water in the ocean at large scales is primarily due to surface tension.
You just did say that, Dapper. That was your whole argument. Your argument was, because water droplet, surface tension, therefore, Earth, ocean, surface tension. That was his argument. I'm sure that's what he was saying.
I think so.
Yes. He's an Egypt.
Affirmative.
It's almost not at all. Almost not at all.
Yeah, it's weird, Jolly Man. How the bumblebees defy scientists with the mass to flying ratio. Yeah. Almost like it shows that they're wrong.
Yeah. It should be impossible, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. Usually if you're a scientist and you have a hypothesis and you experiment and you get something observed that shows you wrong, that sort of means you're wrong. I don't know. Who am I? But usually that's how it works.
Aye.
And if you try and make a God of the Gaps argument to say, no, I wasn't actually wrong, this might just be because of that, just because you want to keep your belief, then that's no science. Then that's pseudoscience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There are tiny forces there, and as a result of the large amount of water. But the thing is that the amount of force given by the surface tension per, like, say, unit area is actually not different on the ocean. It's just that per unit volume, there's...
Bees are aliens. What? I'm sure you just said something really stupid. Wait, sorry, I've got to go back.
It's almost not at all. Almost not at all.
There are tiny forces there, and, as a result of the large amount of water. But the thing is that the amount of force given by the surface tension per, like, say, unit area is actually not different on the ocean. It's just that per unit volume, there's so much more water there that relative to the volume, it's not the dominant force.
Okay, so he's trying to say it's still got the same force of surface tension. It's just spread out wider. Last time I checked, when you add more weight to something, it kind of cancels force out. You know, the opposite force. And surface tension on its own doesn't really have a force. Surface tension is only calculated by the forces acting on it. In this case, the atmos, the gas. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also want to point out to all the globies, when you claim things like water droplets, do you know you claiming the surface tension has more force than your not force gravity? Because your force gravity is supposed to flatten that droplet out, correct? Because where's the largest mass according to your model? Down on the ground.
Yeah.
So it can't be having a water droplet. It should be flat when it lies down on the ground. So if it's on a leaf or something, there shouldn't be a water droplet, because now you're claiming water tension is stronger than your force that's not a force of gravity. Yeah.
That's right.
So in other words, 14.7 psi, guys, debunks gravity.
Absolutely. That's
Crazy.
it. We wouldn't be believing without that 14.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I.
But my point is simply that water isn't magic. It just follows the forces that act upon it. One of those happens to be surface tension, and in some cases that can be the predominant force. In other cases it won't be. But the fact is that if there's a force pushing it towards a center of mass that we're going to call gravity, if gravity exists at all, then there is not a contradiction between water curving positively at large scales and water finding its own level.
There's
Because
a huge contradiction. Level is horizontal, flat. Get it? There's no curve in there. Gravity is not a force, so it can't pull to the center of mass. That is just you having the begging the question fallacy. That's it.
As per usual.
Yeah. There's no evidence for anything he's just said.
if that's the case, then level just is curved. In fact, level in surveying manuals is always defined as following the curve of the Earth.
No. No. Planar surveying use elevation angles. They take horizontal datums. They measure incline and slope angles. The geodesic surveyors then take that information from the planar surveys and then take a ellipsoidal model into consideration. So in other words, they take that data and they say, we measured a slope angle here, but because we believe this slope angle has to be curved because we're on a curved surface, therefore measured curve. That's all they do. There's no measured curve. It's calculated because of a belief system. The WGS 84. That's it. There is no measured curve. There has never been measured curve. There never will be measured curve. It's all measured flat.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take something in reality that's measured in reality and just calculate it into something that's not reality. That doesn't make your calculation a measurement.
It is not the same thing as the...
Sorry?
Miss More Cream Beast. I'm a legal alien.
Legal.
horizontal plane in surveying, because surveyors do account for the curvature of the Earth. So saying that water always finds its level is just saying that if the Earth is flat, then water is flat, and if it's not flat, then water...
When is this Michael actually going to talk someday? Because it seems to me Dapper Dinosaur can just speak and speak and speak and speak, and this guy just can't rebut it.
Yeah, he doesn't say much, does he? He's just gonna...
But like I said, he just sits there and smiles with a smug on his face.
That's it. That's it.
And Dr. Tapiocaweasel is supposed to be this physics guy that's not really steering Dapper in the right way by saying, sorry, you're wrong here or anything. He's almost trying to help him out. In, yeah, I know you're wrong in your physics, but let's just nudge you this way and say, okay, it's actually gravity.
Water is curved, which doesn't help differentiate. Water, sure, water's level at large scales. I agree, but that doesn't mean it's flat. So I guess
How many level surfaces make up a sphere that we see from, that would be?
Well, I mean, there are no truly level surfaces that cover the entire Earth, so I guess none. But if you had a perfect sphere, if Earth were actually a mathematically perfect sphere, which it's absolutely not, although it's very close compared to just even a billiard ball. But if Earth were a perfect levels, if Earth were a perfect mathematical sphere, right? If it were actually just a surface that's all equidistant from a single point in the middle, then there would be one level surface of the Earth.
False.
So wow.
Nope. False. Show me.
So he says like the water can be level, but it doesn't mean to say that the line's level. So he says it can be curved, but water is level. So like a golf ball.
Remember what was said on the definition. Horizontal lines, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I place a horizontal line here, can anybody show me how all this, any of this, is the same height to that horizontal line?
Just the middle part.
No, there isn't.
No.
Hey Oz, good to see you, man. Thank you for coming. There is nothing level about this. The only level part is that horizontal line.
Yeah.
So in other words, your sphere is not horizontal. It's not horizontal. It can't be level. Remember what we read in the definition. Let's look again. A horizontal plane or line with respect to the distance above or below a given point.
Did I say the middle was level then? I didn't mean to say that. I mean,
No,
the middle,
but I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
the middle is the same height, but the rest ain't. I didn't mean to say it was level if that's what I came across.
Hey, Truth of a Comfort, good to see you. Thank you for coming. And let's look at the adjective again. Having a flat, horizontal surface. So if you're claiming your sphere is level, you are claiming the sphere is flat, horizontal surface. What? So in other words, the anti-flat earthers are actual flat earthers, guys. Because if they claim the sphere is horizontal level, the water's level, well, by concession, they're saying it's flat and horizontal, which means no curve. Should we look what the definition for horizontal is? Just in case these guys are...
Go for it. But Miss Mod Queen Bee says, please show Flat some love and hit the likes. And
Yeah, guys, please do. Appreciate everybody's support. You guys rock. Okay.
Thank you, Miss Mod Queen Bee.
Let's see what horizontal says. Parallel to the plane of the horizon. Ooh. What does parallel mean? Last time I checked, that horizon is falling away on a sphere. How do you have it parallel? But on a flat earth, we can have this. That's level because it's parallel to the plane of the horizon. Ooh.
Yep.
Okay, so at right angles, to the vertical. So almost like surveying, they use right angles to get their angle measurements and celestial navigation. Ouch. Okay. Let's see a noun. A horizontal line, plane, etc.
Hey, Code Puncher says, I always wondered about height above sea level. How is that possible on a ball? It's not.
It's not, yeah.
It's not, dude.
Because you can't have sea level on a sphere.
No.
So you can't have height above the sea level because you didn't have the sea level to have a height above it.
Yeah, like what said, sea level is the clue.
Exactly. Yeah, but Glenn Selsh, remember, a horizontal parallel, a plane. So they can't claim a curved parallel because it's a parallel horizontal. See? A horizontal line. So that parallel is specific to a horizontal line, not a curved line. And horizontals don't curve. Imagine they start calling it sea curve. I wouldn't be how can I put it, surprised if they do that one day. Because they
Well,
get so tired of everybody telling at sea level.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be a level surface. And if you were to walk on it
Funny,
at
how did
local
it
levels,
get called sea
because
level if it's not level?
Exactly. Is that Ryan I hear?
Who said that? Oh, yeah, Ryan came in.
What's up,
That's
Ryan?
me.
Good to
Sorry.
see you, man.
Oh, dude, sorry I was late. I had to go to the DMV today.
No stress.
The what?
The DMV.
Oh, right, got you. Driving thing.
Department of Motor Vehicles, you know.
Yeah. It's called I can't remember what it's called over here.
Did you get your license back?
Back? No, I never lost it. Grandma needed an ID card, and I swear it took over an hour to get an ID card. Ridiculous.
Well, it's DVLA here.
And make sure when you go in there that you tell them exactly that you have an appointment, because if you don't repeat that like 50 times, they'll accidentally put you in as not an appointment and you'll wait 2 hours.
Yeah.
Or like us, I can go and I sit in front of our office at 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure I'm first in line, and I still walk out there about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Because every time someone walks in
everywhere.
and they have a mate or something, they let the mate just push in front of you. They're like, it's literally that way. They say, you guys sit there. They just say, you guys sit there, you guys go there. And then after you stand in this line for how long, then you must go there.
Yeah, now you got to wait in this line too. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I hate it.
because the positive curvature would be so small, because the sphere is so big, you could approximate it as flat at distances up to, a few kilometers. And then after that, your flat approximation.
Sorry?
Did he just say because your feet are so big? Is that what he said?
Yeah. He says because scale, therefore you can approximate it flat. So in other words, he's saying Earth too big to see curve, but same breath, I see curve because boat go over curve.
Well,
Idiots.
that's what they said. They said it was curved, so it must be.
Hey, when will these people ever learn?
Yeah, they don't.
Approximation.
They don't learn.
Do
That's
people
the whole
learn?
thing, yeah.
I don't know. Unless something bad happens to you because you did something wrong, usually you don't learn, do you?
Uh-huh.
You just keep doing it wrong until somebody comes along and gets mad at you about it.
I think increasingly... they'll just keep repeating the reality until they get it one day and can be released.
Mm-hmm.
Inaccurate.
Gotcha. So we're now at gravity makes it stick, and I guess my next question is, gravity has some questions that...
Why haven't you rebutted anything? That's what I said. I don't know if this Michael guy's really a flat earther. Look, every time he talks as well, he's got this weird grin on his face. He's smiling. He hasn't rebutted anything Dapper says. It's people like this that make you wonder sometimes, like, where do they find these people? It's the same as that Planet Peterson guy. The people he gets on his show are like this.
There is an Actors Guild,
But you understand, it's like, dude, will you please act as a flat earther for us so we can have content?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it?
Spud said cauterizing is an oxymoron. Yes, Spud, there's been a ton of them tonight.
Exactly.
Oxymorons.
Hey, John McClure, good to see you, man. So yeah, it's...
Moron.
Yeah, and someone said emphasis on moron as well, so emphasis on that.
Make me go,
Okay.
For example, you said it, a rain cloud, it's just water up there. Rain clouds weigh 22 tons. Some of them, there was a huge storm today in the U.S. That cloud was thousands of miles long. That weighs
I want to know who
a
came
lot.
up with that
How is that?
stupid idea.
Sorry?
Who came up with this dumb idea that rain clouds weigh so much? They don't weigh nothing until it starts
They
to rain.
calculated.
From...
They calculate how much weight it has. But his point is, if it weighs so much, how is it staying up in the air?
That's a good question, though. It kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
That you would think there would be some kind of thing there that would tell us that, okay, this is why that happens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Rain cloud that's 22 tons, maybe even more. How is that in the air when it's just water and you're saying water is water and it's going to react? Why is that up in the air? And you said it's just water droplets. That's one of them. Secondly, Again,
let's answer
no
that question.
scientists here.
Sorry? Did you say something, Deathlord?
I didn't say nothing.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Oh, it sounded like you
But I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have been removed from the live chat, and now I need an invite. Well, let's leave it at that.
Live chat?
Yeah,
In Element?
Element, yeah.
Okay, I'll get you back on again.
Well,
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Do you want to take this one, Dr. Tapiocaweasel, as a physicist, or should I?
My general answer would be if you actually solve for the forces, if you can imagine the thing as a single object, like a rigid object, which you can't really as a cloud, but if you did, the upward forces are balancing the downward force.
Sorry?
But then you'd have to imagine. Why would we imagine when we can just see it, and look at it, and figure it out, right?
That's a weird thing. Why imagine it if you are measuring it?
Because you have to, because it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Really weird. So don't trust what you observe, guys. Just imagine.
Your eyes deceive you, sir.
Forces. It's just that the downward force is obvious and we see it every day, and it's gravity, whereas the upward force.
Hold on, Michael just disconnected.
Oh no. Terrible.
No, there is no such thing as downward force. Gravity is not a force. And last time I checked, 22 tons in the air is not supposed to be pushed up by buoyancy.
What the hell is gravity? Shit.
We don't know. Next question.
Oh. Michael, you back?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's all right. It happens.
The short answer is that the forces do in fact balance. The forces of the air are pushing it up.
And he's gone again.
Interesting.
The forces don't balance, mate. You don't have a force to make a balance. Gravity's not a force. So how do you have a force to make a balance?
But.
Kicking, it's like I'm not touching anything, it's just kicking me off.
You might have a loose connection somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. From my end, what I see is you disappear from the stream and then it says user has no connected devices. So it's telling me that your webcam and or mic are just disconnecting. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I just enabled them again, so I didn't.
That's weird.
Sorry.
Okay. But the short answer is balance of forces. The slightly more complicated answer is that there are updrafts and things. And also a cloud is not, I don't know if it's necessarily less buoyant than the air around it.
I mean, it's going to depend, right? So if a single water molecule is less dense than, say, a single diatomic oxygen molecule, right? So there are plenty of particles in the atmosphere that if they bump into a lone particle of water vapor, will have plenty of energy to push it up and overcome gravity temporarily.
Now it can overcome gravity. So then why do you claim gravity overcomes gas?
It was convenient. It was convenient at the time.
You know what's odd? You know what's odd? We can observe water not to keep moving. You know what I mean? It's not homogeneous. But gas is homogeneous. It's always moving. You can never observe a quote-unquote static gas. Okay? It's always moving. So in other words, how can you claim something that can stop moving can overcome quote-unquote gravity, but something that doesn't stop moving can't overcome it? Weird. Hey Andrew, good to see you, man. Thank you for coming.
Now, on the whole, gravity's always going to be acting on the clouds. There's always a downward trend, which is why things like, rain do in fact happen.
Andrew Johnson, he says the cloud is similar density to the surrounding air. So 22 tons. Okay? Get that?
It's buoyant.
22 tons.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
That's like 5, 6 family cars. Yeah. Quite a bit.
I wouldn't like try to bench press it like.
Yeah.
No. Well, maybe if you were a woman and your baby was underneath the car, you could probably lift it. But I don't know.
Yeah. That's it. Definitely.
Hi, Jonah Edwards. Good to see you, man. Thank you for coming.
In a panic, you might be able to.
But yeah, do you see what has actually happened with this whole thing? They've totally used this red herring to obfuscate and move away from the actual argument. The argument was the water always seeks its level when at rest. That was the argument.
Yes.
Now they're not talking about it. Now they're into quote-unquote gravity, and all they're speaking about is now how gravity is a force, when it's not.
Mm.
Exactly.
They just move to the next stupid thing.
Yeah. So he
If they have a
fell
list
for
to go
the
by, yeah.
he fell for the changing the subject.
Flats, we got someone come in an element called Liam X.
Hey, Liam.
Liam,
Yeah, that's my
hey, how's
friend.
it going, man?
He's
Haven't
been
seen
here
you in a
once
long
before.
time.
Okay, cool,
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
How you doing, guys?
It works.
How you doing today, Liam?
Glad to have you in. I thought you left the server, by the way, because it's been such a long time.
Yeah, it has. But he only has a phone that's working right, you know,
Oh,
and
okay.
has to do so much on the phone, so he can't really come in easy on the PC, and it's having trouble on his phone getting in here sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. He doesn't. You know, it probably doesn't
Yeah,
work
it's-
well.
It's a lot easier, and anybody who uses the phone in the future, just tell them to use the app. Don't go through the web-based browser. It doesn't really
Yeah, on the
function
phone, the
properly.
app's easier. On the phone, the app is easier.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're on the
Yeah.
computer, the browser's easier.
And that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's really right.
Hello, Jonah. How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Good to see you, dude.
Yeah, it's good to see
The app on
Jonah.
the PC is actually way slower. You get a worse signal on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Andrew Johnson, yeah, submarines have what we call displacement, mate.
But
Nobody knew that, huh?
you can actually see this in all sorts of things, right? So, have you ever
Everything is
Or-
still catching up. I apologize for interrupting, but everything is still catching up on my end, so I'm just letting it do so, and I'll be listening.
Okay, Shotman.
All right.
if you ever make a sauce and you add a little bit of like cornstarch to the sauce to start thickening it up?
Yeah.
When you first pour that in, the cornstarch kind of stays towards the top. Now, if you were to let it go and just watch it, it would eventually settle down. What's
Yeah, you know why it goes to the top? Because of surface tension, mate. It still has to get saturated before it starts deciding to break through that surface tension. Not rocket science.
actually happening is that because
Shape.
Sorry?
That doesn't change the shape of the Earth, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen you in a while, Jonah, so it's good to see you, man. Glad you're doing well. But I mean, this is the same thing that not a Professor Dave tried to do, where he uses a syringe and puts water in there, and the surface tension causes the water to curve, quote unquote.
Mm.
It just shows they don't understand the actual argument.
Yeah, or they
Because
didn't, they didn't ask the right question.
I don't think it's that they don't understand it. I think they don't want to understand the argument. I think that's the issue.
Well, yeah, that would, yeah. Otherwise, they'd just be fake, yeah.
there's molecules in whatever sauce you're making that are bouncing around because it's hot normally, unless you're making cold sauces, which I guess you could do. That's weird. You're not going to get it thick up well this way. Anyway, I'm assuming you're making a hot sauce and add a little cornstarch. Because all those molecules are bouncing around and the particles of the cornstarch are so small, they can impart enough momentum when they push up on the particles that it takes a long time for them to fall. That's all that's happening, is because the cloud is so dispersed and because the particles of water are so small that some of them are just independent little molecules and some of them are collections of molecules that are only a few dozen big. If you have things like updrafts or even just random Brownian motion from the particles in the air, that will tend to, on net, either cancel out the force of gravity pulling downward or mostly do it. Because
So, all these actual forces he's talking about seem to be counteracting a not actual force. Yeah. Hey, angle of elevation, good to see you, man. Yeah, gravity is just the effect of an object falling. No, that's false. They can't decide what gravity is. They try and explain gravity with acceleration, and then they try and say acceleration is gravity, so they contradict themselves. That's why they end up saying gravity causes gravity. And when
It
you
is the force. It causes the force.
yeah, what is gravity? Mass attracting mass. No, that's not gravity. That's
That would be the force.
That would be acceleration, correct? Yes. So not gravity then. Well, what causes the acceleration? Gravity. Okay, but you just said gravity was the acceleration. No. But I can accelerate a car. Does that mean I accelerated the car using gravity? Did I use? Am I accelerating gravity? No. It's really idiotic.
I would argue you cannot touch gravity because it does not exist. It's a figment of your imagination.
Yeah.
The
Or maybe
point with
mine,
the
I don't know.
yeah, Andrew, the point with the cloud is there's actual forces there. There's actual forces with the cloud holding it together. And they're not bonded really. They're held by static. Now, when you want to claim gravity, it would still need to put it down because it's held together. What happens if I go and stand next to somewhere? Let's stand on a scale, for instance, a big scale. Imagine we have this huge scale in front of us, okay? And I stand on it, gives a reading of 71 kilograms. Now we ask someone else to come and stand next to me and hold my hand on that scale. The weight will go up. Correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not actually bonded, but we're holding each other's hand. We are together on that scale. You guys are claiming gravity's pulling us both down now with a more force because it's larger mass. Now, with the cloud, all those holding hand molecules, you could say, make up like 22 tons. Do you see the issue here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like that egg thing. The egg sinks and then it floats. And then
Exactly.
One of the things is clouds do in fact fall, but they tend to do so very slowly, kind of like a feather, right? Why don't feathers fall at the same?
Clouds fall. No, they don't.
What did
They
you say?
sink.
Clouds fall because of what? Damn.
Yeah, that's why you get things called fog. You're driving through the cloud. You do know that the clouds just moving up and down defies gravity because all clouds should be on the ground according to gravity, dude. None of them are supposed to be in the sky.
According to sinking.
And
Adjusted,
also notice, different types of clouds have very specific altitudes they sit in.
That's another one that we should be talking about too.
Yeah. They have specific altitudes. They wouldn't have specific altitudes if gravity was a force pulling them down. Because then it would be based on size of the cloud. This cloud is bigger than that one, so it has more mass, so therefore it can only sit at this level. Which is rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
You get different
What
type
if
of
it was a
clouds.
cloud of helium?
Yeah, you get different types of clouds with different sizes at different altitudes.
Rate as rocks of the same mass. Like if you drop a 2-gram feather and a 2-gram pebble, the pebble hits first. That's because of the forces acting on the feather from air.
You can't have buoyancy because gravity is not a force, Andrew. It's not hard to understand.
Dude, come on.
No force means you can't have a counteractive force, buoyancy. You require a force to have the buoyancy.
Well, technically, you're the force that you picked it up and you dropped it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be, you'd be the force.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not difficult to understand. They don't have a force, so therefore they're not able to claim buoyancy. I mean, according to your globe rhetoric, if the apple's falling, it's not actually falling, it's got zero net force. The ground is rising up to meet the apple. Okay? So there is no buoyant force pushing back on the apple. The ground is literally meeting up. Now, if you got a balloon, a helium balloon, floating neutral, why is it still just staying in the same position then? Doesn't make sense.
Yep. Yeah, that's it.
Because now all of a sudden the helium balloon's got a force of acceleration, but there's no measurable acceleration because it's neutrally buoyant, quote unquote.
Yo, I've got a little testimony, no for Vicky.
Hey.
No, like do you know how like she's been coming to these shows for a while now,
Yeah.
Vicky? She's slowly but surely been getting it. You know what I mean? What flat Earth is and all that, and how dumb the heliocentric model is. And she said to me tonight in WhatsApp when we were mentioning these clouds and that, and she's saying, wouldn't gravity pull the clouds towards the Earth? So how does the cloud stay in the sky? And then she says, I'm getting it. So to me, that's a testimony that she sees it's flat. You know what I mean? And she sees the heliocentric model is rubbish. So
Yeah, it keeps
people are getting it.
it keeps contradicts. But you see what I'm saying? The heliocentric model keep contradicting itself, and then they try and make up stories when it's shown wrong to why it should work.
So,
That's it.
Exactly.
It's
So I would say I'm confident enough to say now that Vicky is a flat earther. That's it.
Bye, hey D'Angelo, good to see you, man. But I mean, it's the same as if you get someone that, let's say, they got caught stealing. Now you caught the guy stealing, and he cuts and says, "No, I didn't steal," and you say, "But here's camera footage of you stealing," and then he makes up an excuse. "No, it looks like me, but it's actually my doppelganger." You know what I mean?
I would be smarter than that. I would say, "No, I didn't steal it. I was just borrowing it. I'm coming with it tomorrow."
But you see that. But that's how we can take in symbology with the globe. They show something, but then it's shown to be false. Instead of then saying, "Yeah, okay, it's shown to be false," they say, "How can we make it that it still shows prevalent, even though it's shown false?" Why do you think dark matter and dark energy exist today? It's because of that. They have to place something, a God of the gaps argument in to keep their argument that was already disproved.
Yep.
Resistance. And air resistance is another force that pushes up. Most things that fall are going to have air resistance that's weaker than the force of gravity, which is why they do in fact fall. Same thing with a parachute, right? But you have to sum all the forces together to figure out how an object is going to move. And if your object is as small as a tiny water droplet that's essentially microscopic, which is what clouds are mostly made up of until they actually start precipitating, when you sum up those forces, things like air resistance and Brownian motion, both of which can act counter to gravity, are going to be strong enough to keep the cloud up for a very long time. And
so gravity's not a force then. Congratulations. Notice that he's saying little air currents and Brownian motion and everything keeps a 22-ton cloud up in the sky to overcome gravity, guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the question I have for you is that you say that you're really into things like repeatable, observable science. And the fact is that Brownian motion, air currents, water vapor, water mists, all of these are things that are very easy to experiment on with basically the stuff you've got in your house.
Yeah, and Brownian motion sort of says that the molecules and things moving require containment. Oh, wow.
Now, gravity might be a little bit of a thing that you would have to do a little work to experiment on, but it's actually doable, right? You can get yourself...
Moon rover. Exactly what I'm saying, guys. How many more times must you be told that gravitational acceleration creates a force when accelerating an object with mass? So gravity causes gravity. Idiot.
There you go. Look at that. Miss Queen Bee said something like, I'd say Vicky. Do you know Vicky, do you? I'd say Vicky is not a glober anymore. I'd say that is too. Congratulations. Welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm proud of you, mate.
Mm-hmm. Vicky is ace.
Absolutely. She's the best mod in here. I ain't seen her tonight, though.
Well, it's good that you got Miss Mod Queen Bee here, sir. But Moon Rover, how do we explain this to you on a very simple point? You can't have the effect be the cause and the effect at the same time. Get it?
You can't put the word in the definition, so the meaning of a word cannot have the word in it.
Exactly.
That's being humorous, of course.
Yeah. Hey, Oren Armstrong, good to see you, man.
Big old weights and some torsion bars, and sure, maybe you have to save up, but you can probably do it for a few $100s. Like, if it's something that's within the means of most people to set up an experiment to demonstrate and measure the force of gravity. So, have you bothered to do any experiments with water vapor, with Brownian motion, with gravity? Like, have you done any of these things?
No, I am a YouTube surfer that will watch other people's experiments and then ponder on that. But I mean, isn't gravity like the bending of SpaceTime actually, and it's like not a force at the end of the day? Please keep me on.
First clever thing Michael said the whole evening. Well done.
Just on that, like,
So the word force in this context means a few different things.
Oh, no. There's no context when it comes to force.
Force. I mean,
it's either a force or it's not a force.
Wow. I mean, how can you have context? Force is a force, no matter what. It's,
yeah, exactly. There's no such thing as context of force.
Wow. Something pushes, pulls.
Last time I checked, the force is a physical phenomena.
Exactly. Physical happening.
That's why it's under physics. If there's no force, it's definitely not the same as a force just because you give it context.
It is not a force in the typical Newtonian sense, technically speaking, because it is, yes, the bending of space-time and how objects evolve in space-time.
Objects evolve in space-time. What are you talking about? Objects don't evolve in space-time. It's not difficult to understand. If you are evoking Einsteinian gravity, it's only based on a mathematical model in the fourth dimension. There is no observing this. It's a man-made construct. It's a thought experiment. We don't live in the fourth dimension, so it's impossible to get this observation because we are three-dimensional beings. And because it's only mathematical, means it's not reality. Maths only describes. Do you know what describes means, Tapiocaweasel? I can use math to describe me buying 2 ice creams and I have 3 friends. I can mathematically make an equation that now we have 3 ice creams, but in reality we only have 2. Mm-hmm. Maths described us having 3. It didn't mean we actually did have 3.
Consequence of that, but it is a force in the sense that it refers to a fundamental interaction in nature. It is one of the 4 fundamental forces. The other ones also are not.
Again, it's not a force, and just because we observe things accelerating shows that your not a force gravity is false. Not hard to get. It means that maybe there's something else happening. Ever thought of that? Hey, Moomin Rider, good to see you, man.
Forces in the Newtonian sense, I mean, certainly the weak interaction, but I'm not aware of anything that has a particular.
So mass causes gravity, Moomin. Moonriver. Moonriver is claiming mass then causes gravity, guys.
Yeah, but you need gravity to cause mass.
Okay. I've got this charge on my hand.
Oh, yeah?
This charge is mass.
Yeah.
Show me the gravitational field, please. I just created gravity, guys. Oh, wait. I didn't, because it's not accelerating. It's static.
Oh, no!
Okay, guys, I'm just going to the bathroom quickly. You guys talk quickly. Sorry, I drink a lot of water these days.
Hey, don't be sorry about that.
Especially in the heat where you're at, absolutely.
We should be sorry we don't. There's going too much coffee in and too much water out. That's not good.
No, of course. I mean, I'm saying, man, if I eat, like when I used to go to the pub, if I drank 1 pint, I'd be pissing out 4, basically. Nice flat house chat, like talking about peeing. It's all good.
All right. We're just flat out taking a piss.
Absolutely ridiculous. Let's see what the chat is saying, man. I don't read that.
Oh, Liam.
Who?
Liam, you actually got a little slut to say something now. If you want.
Come in, yeah, Liam, come in and talk, man.
Yeah, I'm jumping around. I'm inviting other people to come into the group to listen and possibly participate. So there's a lot going on, okay? I've used the example for a very long time, the yogurt and the spoon. And it's nice because it kind of references the Matrix in a way. There is no spoon, but there is a spoon actually, just like there's yogurt. What am I talking about? In a cup of yogurt, you have approximately 1 or 2 billion living organisms. They might not be as advanced as we are, but they're there. And to the yogurt, they don't necessarily understand the spoon, but they do see their quickly approaching demise because now they don't exist. They're no longer living yogurt bacteria. What am I saying here? We don't look at the nature of our reality properly. And I'm not assuming like, oh, you guys don't know what you're looking at. No, I'm simply presenting the argument that it is oftentimes a huge point that we miss the nature of our reality. What is this reality? Are we looking at something from within? Are we inside of something? Is the reason why all we can see at the very edge of our vision is black is because we're inside of something and the true light is outside of that? Like we're inside of something and the true light is beyond that. Now, what are stars? What are these celestial orbs? There's so many conversations to be had so quickly. And it's hard to say, well, this is the law. This is how it is. What we can say is that according to the experiences we've had, like life behaves a certain way. You're alive and then you die. And when you die, your body fails, it collapses, it descends back to the ground where it begins to decay and re-enter the rest of the planet's like living organism space.
Entropy.
But so what's happening is a functioning of collapse. We've watched a full body go from being inflated and pumping its organs with fluid and so on, and having inhalations and exhalations, to being a collapsed body. It's now flat. It still has some dimensional space. And there's a reason why I mention all this, because it's, again, the nature of our reality. What are we experiencing? What they allege the Big Bang to be? A giant explosion that's developed all these Oort clouds and all these different crazy chemical reactions in space that have formulated dust clouds and formed into spherical bodies. I don't believe in round Earth or a flat Earth. I believe in the Earth because it's right there. We're on it. But what is the nature of it? What is it that is actually occurring? So, and I'm almost done here, but it's like this. When you go to the amusement park or to the fair or the circus and you get inside of one of those gravitrons, you're going inside of a rotating body that's spinning very quickly, and it is pushing you against the wall. Now, they're trying to say that mass, the planet's mass, is what holds us into the planet because it's so much mass that it's just drawing us in. Like we're very insignificant. But we also would have to look at the idea, well, if the Earth was suddenly not there, would we all get pulled in because of that central mass? Like, would we all move into a central, like in the center of the plate? Would we all, if the plate was gone all of a sudden? No, I don't think that is what would occur. If Earth wasn't gone, would wherever we are in space, would we just start falling? Well, there's no direction allegedly in the cosmic void, so that's not necessarily going to happen either. So it begins to make us look at the nature of these bodies, these organisms, these structures, these situations, and it helps us to kind of consider, okay, so if I'm supposed to be on an elliptical plane, like in what we call space, our cosmological void, right? I'm on a flat surface, right? And it's a lot of people say it's non-moving, which makes sense because if it was moving, there's nothing in nature. Like if you spin a ball that's sitting in a pond of water and you spin it really fast in the water, some of the water is going to, squeegee or pour off to the sides, to the center of the basketball or the ball, right? It's going to fling off. So there's nothing that shows in our natural model of existence that gravity would behave in such a way. Instead, if you look at like the way a ball behaves when it's thrown into a pool of water, you see the water dip down around the ball because it's displacing, the water is being displaced by the ball. So what I'm curious about is happening is that is the very nature of our reality something that is constantly in a state of collapse or expansion. And so we're not being stuck to a ball, and the ball's not coming up from underneath us. It's just in nature that we're on a solid structure, and because the structure's there, it's maintaining its integrity. Okay, but I'm not trying to go back and forth in this concept here. If suddenly the ball was gone, the depression that was formed by it in that pond would be removed, and there'd be a less force occurring. But if it was an even bigger ball put in there, then the ball would be pushed down further into the pond. This doesn't equate gravity. This just equates the law of structures and having like supporting bodies upon them. Like
Precious.
if you're a ball in a pond, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's what I say. That's sort of like RDD explains it, relative density disequilibrium. It's just the displacement of the pressures.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And gravity is very much a false science, but we have friction, we have static cling as a real property, but you don't see gravity in nature very often, except for when you put that ball in the pond. And now if you put a bunch of other little balls in the pond too, they're all going to kind of go towards where that pond is sagging. And the bigger the ball is that's sagging in the center of the pond, the more the force will draw those other things into it. So it's not gravity necessarily. It's like it's a drawing, it's a clinging. So there's so many behaviors occurring that make gravity seem kind of really simple or
Obsolete. Yeah.
elementary, not
Yeah.
necessarily obsolete. Thank you. That's all
Yeah.
I
It's
wanted to
a,
say for starters.
yeah, it makes it obsolete. But that's my whole point in this whole situation, especially because they're pushing Einsteinian gravity. It's in the fourth dimensional mathematical construct that we aren't able to observe. So how can you use it as an argument if you're not able to observe it? Just like you said, if like the organisms in the yogurt, they can't observe us. So how do they know that's the point? So just like we can't observe space bending in the fourth dimension because we're three-dimensional beings, we're not able to make claims about it because, yeah, it's just the person's mind construct. And what we do observe actually goes against what they claim. So if they're claiming gravity is no longer a force and we do see acceleration, then that means their gravity is obsolete because you require an acceleration requires a force. And based on observation, we can show this every day to happen with actual experiments and demonstration. But based on what they claim scientific is, has never been shown, never been observed, never been experimented. So yeah, it's just pseudoscience.
Yes, it's pseudoscience completely. And there are other things that we see that happen everywhere in nature, like just example after example. And then there's also a weird little segue, whereas some of the things we see in nature, we also see in computers and the way that computers function and their operating systems and the way that they actually like the function, the mechanical and analog function of a computer, the way it actually operates, not what it's doing, but the way it does what it does. There's similarities between that and nature. So gravity was a big placebo effect, like, oh, I could see how that's gravity, but that's because that was easily identified as, oh, that could be gravity. But now that I have some insight and some time and experience and I have some other things to like look at as examples, that's not gravity. That was just a great name for it temporarily because what you didn't have anything else to go with.
Exactly. Yeah, that was actually quite very. I like the way you phrased it as well. So thanks.
Thank you.
I think
thank
it's
you.
easy for people to understand. You guys ready to go on with the video?
Yeah, let's do it.
Sure,
Let's do
sure.
it, man.
But thanks, that was an awesome conversation, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, John Edwards says great. That was brilliant.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Well said, man. Absolutely. I was listening. I was engrossed in that. Fantastic, man. That was great, honestly.
Thank you.
And
Nice.
then I just want to say hello to Lar. Lar Translation. Good to see you, man. Thank you for coming in.
Just got to nip to the toilet, guys.
Sure.
Great analogy. You can make electricity and magnetism behave in a very Newtonian way, and the strong force you can model that also in a way that looks sort of vaguely Newtonian, but fundamentally.
That's false, Tapioca. You can take magnetism and give it direction. So that's false.
I love how he says sort of vaguely.
With a charge.
Yeah, exactly, with an actual force. So Tapiocaweasel is actually just trying to say, well, you can't use magnetism, electromagnetism, but you can use a mathematical construct that nobody's able to observe or use, but only mathematically based. So maths is reality now, according to him, instead of actual demonstration.
They're also all quantum. They are not Newtonian. But for the distinction between general relativity and Newtonian gravity is one that after Newton came up with the theory of gravity, it took a few hundred years for anybody to even realize that there was a problem at all.
Yeah, but Moon Rover, this is why we're saying the acceleration is coming from an uneven distribution. So if I pick this bottle, well, can't see it. I pick this lighter up, not lighter, charger. You would agree it's got uneven mass. It's uneven force. I'm supporting it at this moment, okay? But if I let it go, it's going to fall uneven. Why? Because that's what creates the force. If nothing's able to support it, it has to go to seek equilibrium. And because it's denser than the air around it, it will have to go down. It's as simple as that. That's what creates the acceleration. That's why, in itself, the object is causing the displacement around the medium it's in. And this is observed, can be experimented, can be shown day to day. Your gravity can't be shown this. There is no such thing as gravity. You require a force to have acceleration according to your gravity. And if you're trying to push Newtonian, Einsteinian gravity, it's again in the fourth dimensional mathematical basis, which is not observable. I agree, Jeff. I don't think Dr. Tapiocaweasel is a doctor. He looks a bit young as well, to be honest. So, maybe a doctor in bullshittery?
Or any observation to be contradictory to the Newtonian model. It's one of these things where you can say so much, so usefully, so much more easily when you talk about it in terms of it being a force that obeys Newton's gravitational law.
So in other words, he's doing what George Musa did. Gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as a force. Just because you think of something as something doesn't make it that. I can think of my Corsa, my Opel Corsa, as a Ferrari. Does that make my Opel Corsa a Ferrari? No, it doesn't.
Nice if it did.
Yeah. But that's exactly the kind of
I mean,
argument
I'd be
he's
all
giving.
for that if we could all do it, but yeah.
But that's the kind of argument he's giving. Gravity is not a force, but you can think of it as a force. So therefore it manifests a force. No, that's not how it works. That's not how physics works. That's not how reality works. Oh, see, I'm still got me on screen. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's try this again.
If you want to nitpick about it, like, sure, okay, but at scales that you're going to measure with an experiment that you could build yourself, you are not going to need anything beyond the Newtonian approximation to Einsteinian.
Gotcha. I get it. I just wanted to hear how you would relay that to like a layman.
Jonah Edwards, my Jimny is a raptor.
Yeah.
Oh, is my phone not charging? There we go. It's a good one.
Like myself, that makes sense. My next kind of follow up is because I get it. I understand where you're coming from. Is just how can these other forces like buoyancy, and I even saw today like the electrostatic force is apparently 10 to the 15th. I've even seen 10 to the 36th more powerful than gravity.
And by the way, that's assuming gravity to be a force, Michael.
Yeah.
Okay, electrostatic is that much stronger than gravity? Like, that's incredible to me. Like, shouldn't, and buoyancy itself too. Like, for example, if Newton was sitting in a puddle of water up to his head and that apple fell and he was underwater, it wouldn't have hit him. Water is stronger than gravity. You know, a helium balloon is an anti-gravity device. Like,
here's the important thing: buoyancy
is gravity.
Is gravity. You cannot have the buoyant force without gravity.
That's false. Archimedes' principle. That's what buoyancy is based upon. Archimedes' principle is displacement. How many times do we have to tell this to these guys? Archimedes' principle was postulated 1,900 years before Newton was even born.
Came home and they still not listening.
But you understand what I'm saying? They hijacked Archimedes' principle and stuck G in there. That's all they did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's about the size of it.
I mean, just because
Just
they stuck G in the equation doesn't make buoyancy gravity now.
No.
It just means they try to hijack it.
That's blowing my mind. Sorry.
So buoyancy, for one, it only I think is well defined in the context of.
Well, that's interesting. Spuddy says hydrophobic BBs being dropped in water, they fall faster than gravity. Oh, so the 9.8 meters per second is shown false there. Uh-oh.
That's a shame. That's a shame, man.
I wonder what excuse they come up to keep their gravity now.
Well, any excuse.
Of
it won't
a
make
mass.
sense. It'll make sense to them, but it won't make sense to the rest. People don't know the truth. You know what I mean?
being inside some sort of fluid. It can be a gas or a liquid. Fluid means a thing that flows,
Hey, it
and
can
both
be a
gases and liquids
plasma
flow.
or a superfluid too, Dr. Tapiocaweasel.
Yes, I.
Sorry.
Don't forget superfluids. No.
Oh, I don't. I studied Bose-Einstein condensation in grad school, and that forms a wonderful superfluid.
We stand plasmas here on the Dapper Dino channel, by the way.
Yeah. But I lost my train of thought.
Buoyancy.
Sorry, that was like a loaded lot of questions in there. Sorry.
What is happening with buoyancy is you have an object and it's inside a fluid, and that fluid has pressure, and because the fluid is exerting pressure downwards, there needs to be a sort of preferred direction that.
This fluid you're talking about liquid, correct? Because gas is also a fluid. Gas is not liquid. Gas moves in all directions. It's homogeneous. It's unbonded. Gas cannot force everything down. You have gas all around you. You see, this is what they say. They false equivocate liquids and gases together. That's why when you go down in the ocean, you go deeper and deeper. That pressure is pushing more and more against you. Because why? The water is bonded.
Yeah.
The water's bonded.
Gas can't hold anything down. Gas is trying to get away.
Yeah. Think about it. The more you're going down, the more of the water is above you.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's bonded. So that pressure is increasing as you're going more and more down because you're adding more and more weight above you. When it comes to gas, though, it's simply the movement of the gas pounding on the surface which gives the pressure. So 14.7 psi is the amount of pressure being exerted by the gas. That gas doesn't just hit and stay there. It hits and bounces away constantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a false equivocation.
Someone said the hydrophobic baby thing isn't on Action Lab, John.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll definitely go and check it out. Yeah, exactly. There is no downward acceleration on air, Sovereign.
Yeah.
My phone just doesn't want to keep staying on charge.
Yeah, I hear it going bloom.
Bloom. It's just displacement.
Oh, I thought it was the messages in the chat that did that.
Would you guys like to do a part 2 of this tomorrow? Because I'm enjoying this conversation.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Wow,
and someone in the chat, I'm sorry to interrupt, but somebody in the chat was saying, well, you should try again, Liam, because that's not quite the principle. Again, what I'm saying is that if you have like a bunch of floating plastic balls in a pond, right, they're going to float around. There's some different currents and different things at play, but eventually they're going to start to move together. And when they do, they're going to be less likely to spread apart unless there's some really agitated storm affecting the nature and the state of the water. But then all of a sudden, if somebody pulls a plug, right, and there's a hole in the water, all those balls are going to quickly come together and push together and go downward. But that's what they've been trying to do the whole time. So I'm not saying that that's gravity. That's, again, another pressure. And the only thing that's prevented that pressure from acting as it is was there not being a hole there. But once the hole has occurred, it wants to go to a state of collapse. Once it reaches a point where there's no longer a hole, it's going to rest, but it's going to rest in a flat state. And all those balls, again, are going to find a way to puddle or pool together. It's just a simple observation.
Yep. Yeah, but the whole point is, Liam is making a point, guys. It's observed. That's what we can observe. What you guys are claiming is not observable. It's about as simple as that.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know if Andrew's been blocked or what has happened that made him get blocked, if it is.
No, he's been timed out for a bit.
Just timed out, okay. So yeah, guys, I think then we'll carry the show on tomorrow for sure, because I'm enjoying this conversation, and I think it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah, let's do it.
But I still got my doubts about that Michael guy, if he really is a flat earther. I don't know. He could be, but he might just be new to the argument.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm very, very wary these days when these channels get these so-called flat earthers on. You know what I mean?
You've got to watch. You do have got to watch, because there's been so many infiltrations of shells and that. You know.
Especially because the guy hasn't really rebutted anything. He just kind of accepts it and moves on to the next thing.
Thank you very much for having me today, guys. I'll be looking forward to joining you in the next group.
Anytime, Liam. It's always a pleasure having you, man.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
So yeah, You guys have any closing thoughts before we close off?
Well, honestly, I just think that Michael Dude could be on the fence a little bit, and as usual, they're just talking rubbish. Do you know what I mean? Nothing they say can be proved. You know, gravity, can't observe it, can't manipulate it. What is it? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's mind-boggling how they in this day and age. It's 2024 after like 10 years of this being sort of in the mainstream. I think that people can still believe in the crap heliocentric deceit. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Jonah Edwards, it's great to have you guys here, man. And it was a great show. I think
It's good.
think definitely looking forward to
I remember when I
tomorrow's
was a younger lad, I used to watch the Go to Space Camp commercials come on, and they always were like talking about, yes, you could come and experience like zero gravity. And then I swear that there's definitely like an anti-gravity chamber somewhere on the planet, but I don't know that for sure. But if you look at the way we recreate gravity or zero gravity, it's done in an airplane, and they rapidly thrust and then drop in order to create a
Hyperbolic,
zero gravity like environment. But why can't we recreate gravity in a more simpler manner since we have so much advanced technology? That's how we're recreating gravity, is why
Yeah, think
airplane
about it.
going
It's
up and
just
down.
a hyperbolic movement. So
Well,
they probably are able to simulate hyperbolic movements in small scale as well. You just don't know.
Probably just isn't very healthy for the body, though. That might be why we don't have a whole, you know, what's it called? You know, like where you go to do roller coasters and all stuff.
Yes,
That's probably
exactly.
why
Why
we don't
it's
have
not
one
a
of
more of
those
a
in all those parks.
But I mean, there's so
exactly.
much technology out there that's held from the public as well. How do you know
Yeah,
it's
for
not
sure.
possible that they can use even frequencies to make a person levitate? You know what I mean? You don't know.
Yeah,
But that
no,
would be
that makes
levitational
sense.
technology, not anti-gravity
But
technology.
There's no such thing as gravity.
no,
no,
no.
But yeah,
only the word.
but it's interesting, to say the least. But I mean, yeah, they're definitely faking it. How they're faking it, I don't know. We're just ordinary people. We don't have access to it. But you can't violate natural law and just claim it because you have a belief system.
And you can't change the laws of physics.
No, you can't. Moving causes moving.
Moving because it's moving, man. Telling you.
We would already have laser tag places where you go in and you jump around with your everything flying around in the air, shooting each other with, you know, whatever in there, you know. If we could, you know, they would have done that long ago, you know. It would be promoting space so hard if people were jumping around in non-gravity rooms, playing stuff, you know.
Exactly. So, guys, I'm just going to say thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody's support on the channel. If you guys haven't already, hit that like, share the show. And yeah, just appreciate all my members. Appreciate everybody that supports this channel financially and just visits the channel helps as well. So yeah, thank you guys for everything. I'll see you guys for part 2 tomorrow. May the pressure be with you. Many, many blessings. Cheers.
Good night.
Oh, why's
Peace out.
my intro? Bye-bye.